Have you ever been in a situation where someone chose someone else over you? And I can guarantee you every time you're like, why? That person isn't as attractive as me. They're not as successful as me. They don't have the personality that I have. Their life is a mess. I have this going for me and they don't. And the list goes on and on. I've never heard anybody say that they understand. I understand why they chose them over me. They're so much better than me. Who says that? And the number one problem with it is how hurtful it can be. It could be something that you never get over, or that it takes months or weeks or even years to get over. It could be something super painful to experience. And I think we don't spend enough time acknowledging that fact. Like, I totally get it why you would feel pretty devastated, especially more than likely this is somebody that you really love, that you really liked, and it just didn't work. So, what makes someone choose someone over you? And I know it may not make you feel better to say it's not you, has nothing to do with you. It could have something to do with you if you were cruel to the person, you were mean, you cheated on the person, you did a lot of junk, you weren't ready for a relationship. I think relationships take skills, especially these days. We're having to learn how to develop skills that I think actually maybe decades ago, maybe people were more skilled in relationships, but they didn't have as much stimulation. They didn't have as much technology. It's so weird to me that now that we have technology, it seems like relationships are harder when you would think it would be easier. But it seems like people matched better and easier back in the day, whether it was at school or church. Now it's like, think about all the parties and all of the invites. I mean, it's not that people didn't have parties before, but now it's like parties and get togethers are on overdrive and have been for the past probably 10, 15 years, even weddings. I remember, years ago, think about what weddings were. You had finger sandwiches, peanuts and mints, and that sherbet ice cream drink with the soda in it, the Mountain Dew or whatever, Sprite. And now weddings are so elaborate. They cost thousands of dollars, whereas they used to maybe cost $100 or a couple of $100. So things have changed, and you would think that we had the skill set to make relationships work. Used to be, it was just simple. The woman was kind of the homemaker and the man worked, and it was just straightforward. Now it's totally different. It's like you got to look good, you got to be somebody's entertainment, you got to take trips and travel to exotic places, you have to be in contact with understand their feelings, and just be all of these things and know these rules about give him space, you can't be around him, and it's just it's ridiculous. So why somebody chose somebody over you, it should be simple, but it could be so complex and complicated. So I'm just going to try to give you my knowledge. So why would somebody choose somebody over you when you are so amazing and the connection that the two of you had was so great? First of all, a lot of people choose people that they're not as deeply in love with as they were with you. And I know this can be especially hard for people with fearful avoidant attachment styles because you're already struggling to make sense of relationships. So this just adds one more problematic, confusing layer. And that's why I have compassion for this attachment style because I want to give you the clarity that you need. I understand that. You got to have some type of clarity in a relationship in order to even get involved in it. So this could be a setback for you. And I don't want it to be a setback for you. I want it to be a learning experience for you and for you to keep going, because relationships can be draining and it can make people give up. But I don't want you to give up before you get to your quote unquote perfect love. So they may choose somebody that they're not as deeply in love with as they were with you, because they just are at a certain point in their life. Like a lot of times, men will get married once they have their finances in order. Women don't understand that, but if they get with you and their finances suck, you're going to be mad at them. So they often have the instinct to get their finances in order. So he may have met somebody who he thinks, you know what, we have peace. And a lot of men these days say that's what they want. They want peace in their relationship, and they just found somebody that they have actual peace with. So they go for it and it works. But a lot of times, the more chemistry you have with somebody, the more problems you're going to have, because you're going to have more junk to work through. You're going to have more issues that come up. So that intense chemistry comes with a price. It comes with a certain set of problems that you're not going to have if you don't feel as intensely about somebody, and the two of you just get along and everything is great and they're kind and they're chivalrous and hey, it just works. Probably won't find any better than that, but you may not have that strong chemistry. So basically, the way your subconscious mind works is we often attract people that we need to fix something about or with, because when you're an adult you have more power. That's imago theory anyway. So you have things in your subconscious that you need to correct or fix, and your conscious mind is going to attract what is logical, but your subconscious has a different mind. It's going for, you know what, my father abandoned me, so I'm going to pick a man who's going to abandon me to some degree. So the person may reject you and pick somebody else because there's no problem to fix. You are not abandoning them like their family member did. So they're not as attracted to you. So you may punish yourself or think, I didn't look pretty enough. I didn't look good enough. I should have done my hair differently. External things. Or I should have been meaner. I should have been tougher. That's not how romantic couples work typically. Not if you're choosing somebody that you have a high level of attraction towards. So from a fearful avoidant perspective, the choice of one partner over another can often be rooted in deeper emotional patterns and past experiences. When he chooses her over you, it wasn't solely about a lack of affection or value for you, but rather a reflection of his internal struggles. Fearful avoidant individuals often grapple with conflicting desires for intimacy and the fear of vulnerability. In this context, he may have seen her as a safer option, someone who allowed him to maintain a certain distance while still offering companionship. This could stem from a past where closeness was associated with pain or rejection, making it challenging for him to embrace a more open and trusting relationship with someone like you, who may have encouraged deeper emotional engagement. Choosing her might also signify a moment of self-protection. In his mind, the decision could be about avoiding the risk of getting hurt or overwhelmed. While it may feel painful to be on the receiving end of this choice, it's essential to understand that it reflects his journey with fear and attachment rather than a direct reflection of your worth. Ultimately, his choice signifies his current emotional landscape, shaped by experiences that may have nothing to do with you. Recognizing this can help foster compassion for both him and yourself as you navigate your feelings and healing. I'm giving you permission today to feel what you feel, and it's okay to feel hurt. It's okay to feel disappointed. It's okay to feel confused. It's okay to feel devastated. It's hard, it's painful, and that's a normal and natural reaction. It's okay. I'm sending you a ton of hugs. The other thing could be that you had standards and that other person didn't. You had boundaries, you had things that were unacceptable to you. Like, these are the expectations, and it's okay to have expectations and want certain things when it comes to a relationship. The other person may have been like, I'll deal with anything. Like, I'm so desperate, I'll take anything. You can come home at 4 o'clock in the morning. Will I be upset with that? Yes, but I'll accept that because I want to be with somebody so badly that I'll take anything. So this could be a situation for which you could be quite proud of yourself because you didn't just put up with somebody's bull crap. You said, no, this is what I like, this is what I want, and this is what I'm accepting. It could also be the flip side of that, where you just put up with anything and let him walk all over you, or her walk all over you if you're a guy. And this other person said, no, I have standards. This is what I expect and how I expect to be treated in a relationship. And that made the person, the fearful avoidant, feel safer because they know these are the rules. These are some things that we go by. This makes sense to me. I like that. I like having some standards and some regulations in my relationship. So it could be that. So even though I know you're better than him or her, like, you were a way better choice and you could have made him or her way happier. The thing about it is relationships are so much more complicated than that. And it doesn't hurt to evaluate the situation and think, okay, is there one thing I could have done differently or better that I could do in my next relationship? There's nothing wrong with doing some self-evaluation because these days relationships are about learning. There's a huge learning curve that was not present back in the day. Now it's like we're learning new patterns. There's a lot of toxic advice out there that people are latching onto that you have to overcome. So it's confusing. So everybody gets a little bit of a pass. But yeah, use this opportunity to grow and get better and to heal. If you are fearful avoidant, you have things that you need to work on so that you can get stronger in love. And my hope for you is that you don't let this opportunity ruin it for you and someone else, because that would be really, really sad to me. I watched a video recently where this guy was talking about how horrible this person that he married was, that she was just horrible. She treated him badly. She was immature. She was disrespectful. She was very demanding, a big crybaby, like, give me what I want, but then would disrespect him and be cruel and rude and totally lowered his self-esteem. So now I'm not putting up with nothing. Like, I'm a new man. So all of that I went through, not dealing with it ever again. And all the things that he listed, I was thinking, I don't fit any of those things that he's saying are upsetting to him about the relationship, marriage that he was in. So he could be missing out on an opportunity to be with somebody like me, for example, who all the things he said he doesn't want and that he's fighting against and has these defenses up for, I don't do those things anyway. So you want to be careful that you're not projecting what one person did to you onto somebody who is totally different, totally moral. And not only that, here's a pro tip. Not only that, but the person was under 21, like 20 years old when he married her. How much do you know at that age? You don't, I mean, unless you are just incredibly lucky, you are still learning in your relationships. I think back to when I was 20 and I think of some of the silly things I did in relationships that are just absurd because I didn't know. I was modeling after toxic relationships that I'd seen on TV. How in the world am I going to know that? And also, a lot of times, sometimes, relationships are as mature as the two people were in them when they started. So they could have been 35 when they got a divorce and they were still doing 20-year-old things because that's how it works. So be careful of that. Please don't let this be a total setback for you if you're fearful. Avoidant attachment style, just use it to continue healing. So if you need more, then I definitely want you to check out my 3 books. They're all on topics that can help you in relationships. One of them is Flip the Script on Love. The other is The Workplace Narcissist, about a very high level narcissist who people are very attracted to. You need to be careful with. And then it helps as a fearful avoidant attachment style to understand the 16 Myers-Briggs personality types, because then you know why this person is so spontaneous or why this person is so rigid. It gives you insight. So I'll put the link to all my books in the description. And I just want to thank you guys for going on this journey with me. Thank you for the comments that you've given me, whether they've been tough or nice or whatever. It helps me. We're in this together. So I appreciate you so much. Be sure to subscribe so that we can keep doing this together. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye.